Who is the best quarterback in the NFL? Brandon,
Okay.
you're
Yeah, I'm going to kick us off. All right. So, the best quarterback in the NFL today, entering the 2022-23 NFL season, is who it's been the past, I don't know, 13 years, 15 years, maybe more. It's Tom Brady. All right. It's the GOAT. And I'm going to wait to get into why because I want to hear if you guys differ and I want to try to understand where you guys are coming from because I can't see where you're coming from if you differ.
I disagree. Justin, you want to dive in first because you're the Patriots fan.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think there's been a changing of the guard here. Uh, and this time it's another quarterback that now runs the AFC East since Tom Brady left. I think it's Josh Allen. Probably the most exciting quarterback in the game. This guy's hurdling over dudes, throwing bombs down the field. He was a coin flip away from going to the next round in the playoffs. I think the NFL goes through Josh Allen this upcoming season.
Josh Allen, disagree?
100% disagree. Josh Allen's not even in my top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
That's insulting.
All right, insulting. Go ahead, John.
When has Tom Brady not had a top 10 offensive line and had ultimate success? Josh Allen has not had that level of, like, when you're looking at an elite quarterback, they need the system and structure, but they need the guys protecting them up front. We could talk about Tom Brady's weapons after that, but with Brady in Tampa Bay, he has all of the tools any quarterback needs. Bruce Arians isn't there anymore.
But I bring to you this. So you talk about the offensive line for Tom Brady, and that is more gives credit to the offensive line coach in New England. I'm going to talk about that for most of the years because it was Dante Scarnecchia, and he's highly regarded. He's been getting these guys. We've been drafting people in the 3rd, 5th, 4th round, developing these guys up. So if you want to talk about coaching, Sean McDermott, ring a bell? Has he not turned around the Buffalo Bills as well?
Absolutely, he has.
So I mean, I'm not going to take away anything when you have the talent because if you're an elite quarterback in this league, you can do something with less because that is what separates you from good to great. That's what separates them. So I expect Josh Allen to do great things if he's this guy you're talking about with a not so good offensive line. Just like I expect Tom Brady to develop these receivers back in New England for all those years and make them these actually good players when they're really,
Okay, but time out. Why don't you consider him a top 5 quarterback?
Where's the appearance in the championship?
Bro.
Where's the ring?
So is Matthew Stafford better than Justin Herbert?
Yes. Matthew Stafford's a champion, reigning champ.
Do you want to dive in first?
This is a problem, John. John, you probably will agree with me here. I think we put way too much weight on titles in every single sport. Looking at Matt Stafford before this past season, he was barely squeezing into the top 10.
Highly disagree. Everybody knew, all his contemporaries, all his teammates, all the quarterbacks around the league all talked about Matt Stafford has the talent. He doesn't have the team surrounding him. I mean, look at the franchise he played for. It's the Detroit Lions, dude. Barry Sanders ended his career in his prime because he didn't want to play anymore. Calvin Johnson Jr., same thing. Matt Stafford was stuck with let's be honest, a crap franchise that hasn't done jack nothing since when? He finally gets on a team that actually cares about winning, and look what he did. He's a champion, validated.
So we're just ranking quarterbacks off of the ones that win the most, because then by default, Joe Burrow should be he made it further than Tom Brady this last season, right? So if we're ranking quarterbacks right now, Joe Burrow didn't have the same offensive line Tom had. In terms of weapons, they were on the same level. Both have elite weapons. So we're just going to rank Joe Burrow ahead of Justin Herbert, Brady, and Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers too. Is Aaron Rodgers not a top 5 quarterback because he hasn't won a Super Bowl in over a decade? Is that how we're doing this?
No, but he also showed up in the regular season too. Aaron
Hold
Rodgers
up.
is coming off.
Hold
Aaron Rodgers.
up.
Go ahead.
Hold up.
So did
Hold
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen did just as much as Rodgers the last 2 years in the regular season to be in the MVP race. And the
But who was
postseason,
the MVP this
Yeah,
year?
that's
Who was the
because
MVP? Who's the
everybody
reigning
just
MVP?
glorified his 4 interceptions that Aaron Rodgers thrown. Mind you, he barely threw the ball into traffic. He played the safest game of football ever. Josh Allen was the most dynamic. He should have won MVP this past season in the first place.
No. When Aaron Rodgers, you talk about playing what was the word you used when you talked about Aaron Rodgers and the
Safe.
interceptions? Safe football. Isn't that also smart football? That's smart football.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not using it to say to crap on his game. I'm just saying, like, even voters said it. People on ESPN, people on NFL Network were just glorifying his interception ratio, but Josh Allen did more for his team than Aaron Rodgers did.
and Brandon, here's what I don't understand. We're not or maybe we are evaluating quarterbacks based off of who has the best team around them. But to be sure, the Rams have a better roster than the Bills. Josh Allen's a more mobile quarterback who can make plays on the ground with his legs. He can literally truck a cornerback and get a first down when the play breaks down. He can extend a play just as well as Stafford. He has the same talent. He doesn't have a grandeur team around him, nor is Sean McVay his head coach. Sean McDermott is very good, but I think you can say there's a delineation between those two head coaches. And not only that, but Josh Allen was literally a coin flip away from, in my eyes, making it to the Super Bowl if he was able to play the Bengals in the championship game. So I don't understand the logic behind we're just going to evaluate players based off of team success, because player evaluation is separate from how well your team does. A quarterback can only play so much a role for a squad. Josh Allen can't go out there and stop Patrick Mahomes in overtime. He can only control what's going on at that end of the ball, and he went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. You can argue he was better the last season. He had some down moments just like Mahomes. The two of them were not perfect, but you see with the talent levels of those two quarterbacks and the production the last 2 years, they're on the same level, and honestly, you can make the case Allen is a better quarterback than Mahomes. The only difference is the fact Mahomes has nearly been to the Super Bowl in all 4 years as a starter. He's went there half of the time. 2 for 4.
Winning. That's what I'm saying, though. Winning.
Hold up.
Winning.
No. Winning is not the grand all be all. There's a clear difference when you have the best tight end in the NFL, the best wide receiver, and Andy Reid as your head coach.
Winning's not the end all be all.
What
do you play to do? When you go into a game and you're an athlete and you're a competitor, do you play to win or you play to lose?
I misspoke. It's when we're ranking players, not the grand all be all. You're totally right. You play to win the game. That's the most important thing. But we're not talking about that right now. We're ranking the best quarterbacks in the NFL, right?
And
so that's what I was speaking of.
The quarterback success.
No, it doesn't. Deshaun Watson. Hold up. Do you think Deshaun Watson was
a great example?
Was he a top 10, top 5 quarterback the last time he played?
Yeah.
So what was his team's record in 2019? Was he good?
It was like 4-12.
Or 2020.
Who was gone?
I mean, it was a very similar team.
Yeah, so DeAndre
Hopkins was the only one.
DeAndre Hopkins wasn't there anymore.
That was the only one.
He lost his number one target.
That was the only one.
Who else did he throw to?
That's the point.
DeAndre Hopkins, losing him resulted in six more losses.
It did for that season when you get stripped of your best player and then you're like, oh crap, I don't know.
But that was all he had. JJ Watt, during Deshaun's peak when he hit it, was not consistently healthy. The defense was not what it was before Deshaun got there.
No, it wasn't. No.
The team's specialty was the combination of Hopkins, Will Fuller as number 2, the running game, and then Deshaun. You lose number 1, the entire stack falls apart. That goes to show, maybe a quarterback can only play so much of a role. He was great, and in spite of that, his team was one of the worst in the NFL.
Okay, but again, I'm going to go back to what team did Deshaun Watson play for?
The Houston Texans.
Okay, that's another crap franchise that doesn't know how to, I guess, do anything because they fumbled the bag how many times?
We're talking about
Andre
quarterbacks.
Johnson was. I understand that, but you brought up Deshaun Watson. You brought up the not success in 4-12. He can only do so much when the franchise is not good.
That's the exact point we're making.
Yeah, that's the
A
point.
quarterback can only do so much to go to the Super Bowl, to win you a title. You need the team and the talent to supplement their skill set. It goes the same in any other sport.
But what validates my point is look at Matthew Stafford. Detroit Lions for how many? Over a decade. Crap. Made the playoffs, I think, 3 times, was bounced out every year. He had a really good team like 1 year when he had Reggie Bush as his running back. I think Calvin was still playing, or Calvin wasn't.
And
then what happened when he joined the LA Rams? What happened? What happened this year?
Not to cut you off, you're talking about how trash a franchise Detroit is. We can agree on that. But he also had a prime Calvin Johnson. And oh, by the way, some other talent like Golden State, Reggie Bush. There were some other pieces in those years, and those teams were just fine. They're on the same level as those Texans teams, a little bit worse in the NFC North. What I don't understand here is
Jim Schwartz. What's Jim Schwartz
and Caldwell. That's not the main point.
We can get into that at another point. Jim Caldwell never should have been fired. But continue.
When we're ranking a quarterback, it's about how capable you are. How much can you do to bring the wins? They can only impact one side of the ball, and they can only bring so much value to you. But the real question we're asking when we wonder who is the best player at the position is who provides the most value to his team? And skill, leadership, continuity, how available are you?
Okay, but wait, let me stop you right there. That second word you just said, what was it? Leadership. Who's probably arguably the greatest leader of all time?
Tom Brady.
In sports history. Yes, Tom Brady. And that is one of the biggest things in sports is leadership.
You want to know what also is very valuable for a quarterback to be able to do?
What?
Extend a play, because not every quarterback's going to have a top 10 offensive line, in fact.
But
so when you don't have that...
But Tom Brady's also nulled that because he's got the fastest release in the game, and he's got a sixth sense for knowing when somebody's coming off, and he's going to throw the ball away and not take that extra hit. Josh Allen hasn't learned that yet. He still goes out there and runs and extends plays and takes unnecessary punishment. And even Tom Brady was even joking about it.
He's not taking unnecessary punishment.
Yes, he is.
Not to the level of some other guys in the Lamar Jackson.
Not to that level.
Takes unnecessary punishment.
It's going to take a toll. Look at Cam Newton. Cam Newton looked like Superman for how long? Then it started to add up. Those hits add up. You're
100% right. But Josh Allen and Cam Newton are two different things. Cam Newton did not have the arm talent that Josh Allen does.
No, but running wise.
Far from it. Yeah, running wise. Yeah, sure. I would even argue that maybe Josh Allen can exceed him. I think he rushed 760 yards last season,
something like that. Yeah.
So
Jesus Christ,
Brandon, what's your top 5 quarterbacks? I want to hear it.
Okay, so my top 5 goes off like this. I'm going to start from 1 to 5. I got Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Russell Wilson. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
You have
Russell Wilson.
Where do you have Mahomes?
Number 3.
And you don't have Josh Allen on there, but you do have Russell Wilson after last season where Russ was injured and didn't perform. His team missed the playoffs. That he wasn't available. He's aging.
He also put up solid. I mean, he had a 25 touchdown to 6 interceptions with a.
That's nice.
Let me get this correct: a tendon rupture, a dislocation, and 2 fractures in his throwing hand.
It's impressive, but that's not the point. We just said before, winning's the grand all be all, but we're not going to weigh into consideration Josh Allen almost went to the Super Bowl, whereas his team didn't make the postseason.
But also, if we want to, all right, let's boil it down to what it is. It is who do you want entering it's one season. So age is out of the question. It's who do you want for this one season? Who do you believe you can win with this season? You have the best chance of winning a Super Bowl. That's what it is. And that's what I'm saying.
You can't take age out of this.
Tom Brady. No, I understand that, but it's a top 10 entering this season. It's not like we're talking over. Like if we're gonna have a draft and we're gonna go for the future, you know what I mean? It's who do I want for this season coming up? We're going season by season. Brady. I want Tom Brady number 1 because he's done it how many times?
But here's another piece of my take. We're not going to price in the fact Tom is 45 years old.
45 in August, yeah.
We're not going to consider that, whereas Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are only refining their game. Like, I feel like when we're having this discussion, at some point, the legacy and the resume you have only holds so much weight because the players coming up are enhancing their games. They can do more physically. Imagine if you put Josh Allen in Tampa Bay and then Tom in Buffalo. Imagine. That's one of my
Tom Brady
fascinations
dominates the
with
AFC
quarterbacks.
East just like Josh Allen did.
You think? What do you think Josh Allen's
No.
doing
He's
behind
got
that?
Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is like a common copy of Julian Edelman. You
But
don't
what
think you
about-
can do big with him?
I think he can, but the offensive line's worse, and at his age,
But like I said before, Tom Brady's got the fastest release in the NFL. He's got a sixth sense for understanding when if somebody's coming in, he's going to throw the ball away and not take that extra hit, that unnecessary hit. He's not going to do it. I've seen it.
it's a valid point. But Josh can do more physically. He can extend a play.
Okay,
He can get
but
you a
Tom
first down
Brady's
on
a
the run.
7-time champion. What's Josh Allen done?
That's very true. But the NFL has changed. In today's NFL right now, everybody wants a quarterback like Josh Allen. Everybody wants one like Justin Herbert or Mahomes who do extend those plays, who are going to rush for over 300, 400 yards also. It's very important. I mean, think about it right now. I'm a Patriot fan. You're a Patriot fan. When we acquired Cam Newton, you can't lie. There was a part of you that was like, honestly, I'm a little excited to see our quarterback escape the pocket and maybe rush for a touchdown a couple times. Like maybe this might expand the offense a bit. And this isn't a knock on Tom Brady at all. I love Brady. I mean, I owe him all my joy. I got a bunch of championships from him. But it's not a knock. I just think that in today's NFL, what makes you most valuable is where you are able to run. You are able to pass. Like John says, extend the play. And I don't think anybody in the NFL does it better than Josh Allen.
Okay, so I just want to, since you guys keep coming at me with this winning, which I'm still sticking with, but also let's go with the numbers then, right? For this past season, let's go for the numbers. What happened last season? Josh Allen, 63% completion percentage. Good, but not great. 4,407 yards, really good. 36 touchdowns to 15 interceptions, a little high on those interceptions, don't you think? 61 QBR, that's good. And then you want to add in the 763 yards rushing and 6 rushing touchdowns. 11-6 record.
I'm going to be honest.
Hold on. Let's go to Tom Brady, right? Because we want to go with stats, right? Tom Brady, second team All-Pro. Josh Allen didn't get an All-Pro. He wasn't an All-Pro. It was Aaron Rodgers' first team and then Tom Brady. So even the voters agree with me. Led the league in passing yards. Led the league in touchdowns. 67% completion percentage. That's 4% higher points than Josh Allen. 5,316 yards. That's almost 1,000 yards more than Josh Allen. 43 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. 3 less picks. 7 more touchdowns. And a 68 QBR with a 13-4 record.
You notice how you're the first one so far to mention the stats? Because Justin and I were not even going to look at them. We know the numbers, but that can fool you so many times. Like we talked about before, if winning is the grand all be all, the numbers that Rodgers put up mean nothing. They don't hold any weight. So why are we going to stack that up to defend your case?
My whole thing is not that. My whole thing is you take everything into consideration. You take in winning, you take in accomplishments, and you take in accolades, and you take in the stats of what they do.
But you didn't
see on the field.
Not once right there did you mention capability to diversify an offensive portfolio. You need to be able to have different looks. That
doesn't mean anything when Tom Brady can do just as much as Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen can run like freaking
Brandon,
running back.
That's the exact point. You just did it right there. Brady may have mastered what he can control, but physically there are things Josh Allen can tap into that most players at the position cannot. And so the fact you have Matthew Stafford over him as well befuddles me. Because of the simple fact, Matthew Stafford athletically is not doing the same things as a Josh Allen or a Justin Herbert. Those guys can tap into a deeper level at the position that few can. That's the whole thing I'm getting at. Because when you have that player and you put him in a place but the offensive line, the talent around him, the scheme that can maximize his ability to extend a play, make any sort of throw you want down the field or in short yard situations, can lead your team at the end of a game. What you're going to need is more diversity, versatility in your game, right? Because if you put Tom Brady in places like Pittsburgh or New York where the offensive line isn't good, can he elevate a team the same way a Josh Allen can?
We've seen it in his early days in New England.
But
He
that's
won
the
3
difference.
championships with a defense-led team, and his offense wasn't really that good.
We're not talking about what he did 15 years ago.
Dominating O-line back then, too.
We're not talking about what he did 15 years ago. And even still, has there ever been a point in Tom Brady's career where he's not had one of the better offensive lines? Has there ever been a point? As a Patriots fan, you guys know better than me. Has there ever been a point where he's not had one of the better offensive lines?
No, but again, I'm not taking that away. You can take that away from him. You can discredit him for that. I will not, because that goes to coaching and drafting, and you want to have a good coach if you want to have a crap coach.
But not every player is afforded that. That is the difference. And so while Brady is always
Josh Allen is afforded that. He's got Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott is not a top 10 offensive line.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying as a coach, for coaching wise, he's a very good head coach in this league.
Did I mention the coach? I'm talking about the offensive line.
He's an excellent coach.
That accounts to also coaching too. Yes, the player's got to play, but the coach got to coach him up as well. It's 50-50. And who's got to draft him?
Shout out to coaches. Brian Daboll as well. He's definitely one of the best coaches for developing a young quarterback. We saw that with Josh, and also his time in Alabama with Tua. But again, I'm talking about the talent around those guys. I think it's blasphemous that you have Matthew Stafford inside your top 5 over Allen when he has had the production you listed, the winning, the accomplishments. He's been by far a top 3 or 4 level.
Where's the accomplishment?
Let me replace that word with gravitas.
He's got one second-team All-Pro, and that's it.
Well, that's an accomplishment.
And then I think a couple Pro Bowls.
Let's replace that word with gravitas. He has hit a level no other quarterback can actually reach outside Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and that is it.
No, that's not true. Matthew Stafford can make any throw that those 3 guys can make.
What can he do athletically that those guys can? Let me know.
Matthew Stafford has been running out of the pocket. What are you talking about? You want to pull up the highlight tapes?
He's had his rough moments just like those guys. And
yes, Aaron
though he
Rodgers
has the
make
better
those too. Let's remember that Aaron Rodgers was these guys before these guys even were in the league. When they were in diapers, Aaron Rodgers was doing these things.
But we're not talking about when they're in diapers. They're now grown men playing NFL football.
I understand that, but I'm just saying.
The point is, you're completely disregarding the athleticism and the tools that teams covet to extend an offense, and like I said before, diversify it. To me, my top 5 quarterbacks would be number 1, Josh Allen, number 2, Patrick Mahomes, number 3, Justin Herbert, number 4, Tom Brady, and number 5, Aaron Rodgers. Right outside of that discussion
this guy's got two guys
Let's
in
hear
his top 5 with 0 appearances in the championship game and 0 titles.
Because you want to know why? Winning is not a quarterback stat. They can only do so much.
Yes,
they can only control the game.
Ball in their hand.
Justin Herbert has
every
been
offensive play. The ball gets snapped to them.
Justin Herbert has easily been a top 7 quarterback the last 2 years, and I'm also praising the fact he's going to get better. He is 23 years old, 24. He is only going to improve, refine elements of his game.
You're projecting.
You think he's going to get worse after one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen? Maybe the greatest I've seen.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying anything can happen. We don't know. I do think that he's going to get better, but I'm not going to be like, oh, that's a guarantee because anything can happen.
We're pricing in the fact that with how great he has been, how special he is as a player, he's only going to find elements to refine. That's all. Outside that top 5 discussion, I have Russ and Lamar right there. Then I have Stafford. I have Joey B, Kyler.
What?
I got Joey B above Kyler too, by the way.
Okay, that's fair. I do too. I actually have Derek Carr above Kyler.
That's an interesting one. I didn't mention Deshaun Watson. I don't really want to talk about him.
Carr is in your top 10.
Oh, absolutely, man.
That crazy.
How many teams would kill for Derek Carr as their quarterback right now? You're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Would you take him right now?
I would do many things to have Derek Carr because the Steelers would be an
when
11
you
or
got
12 win
dirt,
team.
Justin, when you have dirt, anything sounds better. All right. I'm sorry.
Hold up.
I'm not being disrespectful, but let's be
Hold
honest.
up.
Trubisky.
Did you just see the team that Derek Carr took to the postseason with all the turbulence? You love leadership, don't you? You like your leadership, do you? Because when it comes to
I like
leadership, he is
yeah.
one of the three best. He's a way. I don't want to disrespect some of the other top quarterbacks, but when you look at Aaron Rodgers as a vocal leader and you compare that to Derek Carr, the way he can galvanize an offense, to me, it's a no-brainer who I'd rather have running my locker room. Derek Carr is one of the best motivators at the quarterback position, and in terms of ability, he just led a Raiders team, which was probably one of the 10 worst rosters in football, with all kinds of historical turbulence to the postseason. He was almost won a playoff game with that team.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Waller has been exceptional in moments, but last year, defenses were able to scheme him out of their offense, and he found a way to make it work with Hunter Renfrow. Maybe it was A. Jones, Brian Edwards. Brian Edwards is, in all due respect, the most mid receiver of all the young guys at the position. He's fine. He's like, I don't know, think like the most average thing. And he took that below average roster to the postseason. Josh Jacobs is another example. Good pick, solid running back. There's nothing special about those two guys. There's some of his biggest targets.
I think after this past season, he really elevated himself in my eyes. That's why I plugged him in at 10. I mean, this upcoming season with Devontae Adams now on the outside with Hunter Renfrow there and Darren Waller, man, I think that offenses could do scary things, man.
Guess what? Better. It better. Produce.
Oh, you're right. You're right. 100%.
Now win. Now it's time to win, right? You got the talent. You got the stuff. The Gruden drama is out the door in the rear view, right? You got Devontae, your number one. You still got Hunter Renfrow. You got a top 5 tight end in the league in Darren Waller. You got a Josh Jacobs, who's a Pro Bowl running back on any given day. Produce.
Well, he has won 12 games before breaking his leg with a playoff caliber team, and that team was one of the best.
He wouldn't have
done
anything in that year.